Hello, I should be back again. I'm really sorry about all these technical problems. It's a problem with my Wi-Fi. The main problem being that I live in a new build house, which is super. But when they put in all the cables, they sell it to a private contractor, and I'm locked in to have Wi-Fi by those contractors. So I can't even change to Sky or any other. Oh, I've got subtitles. Hi. I'm going to keep it on this camera because it seems to be quite good. But yeah, so I'm contracted into these companies because they're private. So I can't get Sky, I can't get BT Wi-Fi, I can't get anything like that. So I've got boosters and, you know, I genuinely don't know how to get rid of the subtitles. So we'll just leave them on. Right, hi Louise, hi Joe, hi Susan. Thank you, Maggie. Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. We'll just leave it on this camera. I might poke my face every now and again so you can see it, but we'll keep it here. Right, lovely. Okay, we'll just keep it here for as long as we possibly can. Right, so you've got your houses. Now, obviously you'll have two of these. I haven't finished my other one yet. It's around here somewhere, but you will have another one of those. Also said if you want to catch up or do a bit of homework, get ahead of the curve, you can do the 4 9 patches, which are in your background fabric. So mine is my white. Yours will be whatever you want. I've seen some absolutely lovely background fabrics, and I've got all this Liberty and the batiks and whatnot. So tomorrow I'll give you a download for the letters. So I'll bring in the design. So tomorrow I'll give you the download for the letters for the font. But what I thought we'd do today is we would do some applique on the houses. Now obviously this is entirely optional. You don't have to do any applique on these houses, but I thought that let's do something today that is optional, and if you want to embellish and go for it, then you can. But I think that would be a really nice thing to do. So, if you've got Bondaweb, hi Mum. If you've got Bondaweb, fantastic. You can obviously hand stitch this on. You can do whatever you want to do. I prefer Bondaweb. This overhead camera is pretty good, isn't it? Sorry about this bit of cable, but I'm trying to attach everything all together. Dramas. Right, so I think I'll probably start with my cottage townhouse. I'm going to start with the first one I did. So I'm going to take these off. That's quite a good camera, isn't it, overhead there? I'm really pleased with that. At least that's something that's functioning. Right, so applique for this house. Hi, Sandra. The simplest way to do this is, or the way I will do it, is I will draw my shape for my door and then I'll draw things inside it just on plain paper. And then I've sort of got a design about what I want to do, and then I'm not wasting any of my Bondaweb. Oh, thank you, Christine. That's really kind of you to say so. Right, so I'm just going to measure my door. So that's 2 inches. And it's my door is 2 inches by 1, 2, 3.5. So I'm going to draw this on here so that I know that if like a letterbox or a number or something, it all has to fit inside that square. I'm just doing that on paper at the minute, so that I don't waste anything. Yeah, sorry, I was just looking at the camera to make sure everything was okay. I'm also going to do a bird for the top. What shall I do? So the first thing I'm going to do is probably a letterbox. So I'm just going to roughly draw that so I know that's the right size. A door handle probably as well. Won't necessarily be there, but at least I know my sizes. I'll do a house number. What number? number shall I have it? I'll have it number 10. So for your applique, all your numbers and letters have to be in reverse, so that when you adhere the Bondaweb onto your fabric and flip it over, everything's the right way round. So number 10 is obviously not hard because it's all the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a number 10 just as it would be, because when I flip those round, it's going to be the same, isn't it? Whereas if you've got a 6 or a 5, you're going to want to have those in reverse. Tomorrow with the letters, they will all be in reverse for you already, so you don't even need to worry about that. It's all going to be done. But depending on what letters and things you want, you might want to think about what way round things go. Right, so using my Bondaweb, I'm going to place it shiny sides down. So can you see that's the shiny side, and this is the paper side. So I'm going to place a shiny side down, and I'm going to really be conservative. I'm going to, I want an edge. I'll show you. I'm going to place the Bondaweb over the top, and you can see I've got quite a good sized border around here. I'm not going straight to the edge of the letterbox. So I'm going to draw this letterbox. You're better using pencil on Bondaweb or a permanent pen. This is I guess it's a water-based gel, so it doesn't really go on very well, but it is what it is. Then I'm going to draw my door handle, and then I'm going to do the number 10. I'm going to do my 0. So it's my head, my headband. At least you can see my headband. And then the 1. So for each of those, you can't really see now. If I put it on the white, you could probably see. I'm going to cut them out, but I'm going to do a border around the outside. I'm not going to cut along those lines. If I cut along those lines and then put them on my fabric, it's going to be really hard for me to get them the same size. Whereas if I do a little border around, I can then trim up to the line I've drawn, which I know is the line that I want. So I'll just cut those out now. These, so you know the other day I had ink all over me. I had a pen that went pop in my pot. Yeah, stationery and sewing. Oh, don't you just love stationery? Oh my goodness me. I was always that kid at school that was, before the summer holidays, I would want to go to Woolworths and stock up on all of my stationery. Right, I'm just going to flip you. This isn't going to be the most flattering angle, okay? But I'm sorry. So here I am. Hello. I'm just going to show you this up close so you can see the edge that I've got around there. So it's going to be easier for me to trim. So sorry about that. Right, we're back. Right, so iron. I'm just going to turn that on because I haven't done that yet. So now, of course, you can be doing curtains. You can do, I think on the townhouse, I think I'm going to do curtains on here. I'll do a letterbox and a number as well. Curtains, 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 curtains. I might even put a cat in a window. I might put a silhouette of a person. You've got so many. No, that's okay. Just letting you go for your walk. Enjoy yourself. I'm looking forward to my walk later, actually. Right, so colours for these, I think I'm going to go for black. I just think that will be quite a nice contrast. I've got this little scrap of black. So my iron is just about warming up. I'm going to, it's caught on something. I need to clean up in here, I'll be honest with you. It's a bit of a tip. So I'm just going to place these on to my black fabric. Of course, you can go closer. This door knocker I've done really far away from the line, but you can go closer so that you can get it on scraps. But you just want to border around, so it's a lot easier for you to cut out. Right, I'm going to just use my iron and press those down. Okay, now obviously what you would be doing is you would be doing this on the reverse of your fabric. So this black doesn't matter, but if you're doing this with a pattern or a printed cotton, for example, this would be on the reverse. So when you cut that out and you peel this away, you're going to stick this side is going to be face up. So your applique, your pieces, your Bondo web goes on the reverse. So now we're going to cut these out. But because we cut them, you know, we had a nice border, we can cut them out and then we've got a nice, you know, so we can get right up to those lines that we drew. So for example, for the alphabet tomorrow, using this technique, you're going to make sure that every letter is the same because you're going straight up to that line when you cut. Obviously it's quite a distance, you can't really see, but I'm sure you get the gist of what I'm doing. So just trimming, this is the door knocker and the letterbox. I think I'll probably do black on all the houses for the numbers, although I suppose you could do a lovely gold or a silver, that would be pretty cool. So I'm just doing the O, not O, 0. Just doing the 0. I've got a tiny bit in the centre there, which is my O, but obviously you can just get in there with your scissors and just chop that, which I'm going to do like so. Yes, so at least we've got this overhead that seems to be working quite well. I'm really pleased with it. It's quite a good angle. It's just the other camera was being a bit useless, which is hilarious because the other camera is my iPhone, which is the latest iPhone, and this camera up here is my son's old iPhone, his old one. So he's got another one since. So it's quite funny, isn't it? Right. So I've got my little pieces. Now we don't have a window on this. I've got ink on me again. We don't have a window on this one, so we'll maybe move over to the townhouse to do some curtains. But we can attach these on. So you've got a backing. Now the best thing to do, hold on, I'll bring it up. Best thing to do is you don't want to peel the sides because you're going to get fraying. If you just run your scissors down the centre, or a pin down the centre of your Bondo web, you can then put your pin under and you can pull that backing away really easily. So do you see? So again, I'll have to do this down here so I can see it. But that's the easiest way to get Bondo web off. Just do a little scratch and then you can peel it. And I'll do the same on the door handle. I keep saying knocker, don't I? It's not, it's the door handle. And then the number 1. Probably see my headband again. No, you can't. Right. So now I'm going to think about my position. I want the letterbox roughly there. I'll have the 10 about there, and the door handle. You could have the door handle either side, couldn't you? Maybe I'll have the door handle that side. That looks quite good, doesn't it? I might just trim this one a little bit. It seems a little bit longer than the 0. I'll just trim that. Oh, I think that looks better. I enjoy applique fiddly bits like this because it's quite satisfying, isn't it? Right, so now just taking my iron, I'm just going to lightly press over them first, because if I put my iron on and start moving it all around, I might move them around. So you just tap them down to start with, so they've got a bit of adhesive, and then just pop your iron on the top and press it down. Now, of course, you can leave it like this if you want, depending on what sort of adhesive you're using. This is the extra strong Bondo web that I stock on my website, so I don't have to stitch over this. If you want to stitch over it, go for it. You might want to do, you know, nice stitches. You might want to embroider over the top. You know, that's up to you. I'm probably going to just leave it like this. I still need to stitch that end. I keep pinning it like it's going to like do it itself. Oh yes, I said we're going to do a bird there. Again, I'll use the black for the bird. I might do a bit of a larger bird than I normally would so you can actually see. So the best thing I find is to always, as I said, always draw first what I'm going to do instead of drawing it onto the Bonder web first and going wrong and maybe, obviously you can draw over it, you can use your rubber if you're using a pencil. I just like to do it on paper first so I can keep my Bonder web for when I know everything's right. So I'm just going to draw a bird. One bird. So basically I'm just doing, you know, basic bird, like so. That's my bird, but just smaller. I'm going to do a couple of birds. Oh, I quite like that big one actually. I'll do 3. And then of course, because I've drawn them out pretty much how they're going to be laid out on the piece. But obviously I'm not going to use that space on the Bonder web. I'm just going to take the Bonder web, draw on the more paper side, remember. Also, the good thing about Bonder web is it doesn't have the dots of the glue. So, you know, some adhesive backings, they have the glue side is all dots and you can't really get a very good draw on it. If that makes any sense at all, you can't do smooth lines because you're going over those dots, whereas the Bonder web is all smooth. Which I enjoy. So I shall just cut these out again. I've got a border round, not too much. And I'm going to go trim that side there just off slightly. Okie dokie. I enjoy applique. I find it very relaxing. Right, I need another bigger bit of black, which I've got over here. So I'll just cut myself a bit. Okie dokie. So I've got my other bit of black. I'll just give that a press. So now, placing my pieces down, I can put them quite close together because I've got a nice border. Remember, this would be on your wrong side. Just press those down. You want to make sure they're nicely glued on. Also give it a second to cool. Excuse me. Give it a second to cool, just a little bit of a waft. And then we can, I don't know what you do, but I always then cut the pieces out so they're individual. And then I can just go from there. Oh, do you know, this wool mat is smelling gorgeous this morning. Some people don't like the smell. I do. I enjoy it actually, I have to say. Don't know why. So quite fiddly. You don't have to do the birds if you don't want to. So there's one. Basically, embellish it how you will. You don't even have to do any applique if you don't want to. Obviously, we are doing some on the quilt itself, quite a large part of it with the Home Sweet Home, but you don't have to do that. If you don't want to, it's your quilt. We're also live on YouTube this morning. So if you're watching over on YouTube, actually I might see if I can just load up load up YouTube to see if anyone's over there. And then I can say hello to them. I'll just keep on cutting this as I'm going. Oh, I've loaded up the page. Oh, we've got 2 people watching over on YouTube. Oh, they haven't said hello though, but that's okay. They've given us a like. So good morning to YouTube. So here we are. This is my third. I'll tell you what's also good, to have a little pot that's completely empty when you start, and then when you've cut out little bits like this, you can pop them straight in the pot, so you know all these bits here are your rubbish, but your bits in your pot are the bits you need to keep. That just keeps, you know, sometimes we can be looking for little bits, can't we? We're going, oh, where, for goodness sake, where is that? And you never can find it. Right, so I'm just going to do these birds. So using that pin technique again, just scratching away at the Bonder web. Like so. And then of course they're not sticky until you've ironed, so you can play around with the placement. So that's that one. And then this second one. And the third one. Morning, Rosemary. Right. There we go. So I'm going to now have a little play around with where I want these to be. I'll be honest, I'm quite happy with that. They look a bit bat-like, so I might just trim this one a little bit. Looks a little bit like a bat, which I'm not. I don't really want it to look like a bat. I'm just going to trim this down. Is that any better? Still looks a little bit bat-like, which I suppose would be great if you're doing a Halloween blanket. And that does look a little bit better, doesn't it? So basically, I think the curve, I don't want the curve so much. So I'll just trim off those points. And trim off that point. Yes, I think that was what was making it a bit bat-like. And also, of course, you could do those thinner if you want to. Right, I'm just going to gently tap on them so they're in place, and then give that an iron. And again, I don't need to stitch these, but if you think perhaps this for a small child or something, and you want to make sure they're properly down, then do give them a little stitch. You could just use a little running stitch through the centre if you want. But yeah, so that's our applique. I'll perhaps do curtains another time. At least we've got the overhead working. I see this is a huge success. This is a positive. We've got the overhead. You can see everything I'm doing all the right way round again, which is a bonus, which means that when I show you the quilt design, it's all the right way round, which is fab. So far we've done all the houses. I gave instruction on the size of these blocks. I've seen some that have been done. Tomorrow we'll make up these two, or one, and then you can do another one. We'll probably do, depending on the time, we might do both. We might just do one, might do the other, and then we'll talk about the applique for the Home Sweet Home. So tomorrow that will be loaded on the website as a PDF download again, and they'll be back to front for you. So that's nice and easy. I'll just give you a thumbs up. That's brilliant, Susan. Thank you so much. I'm really pleased that at least I feel like we're getting somewhere for once. We're getting somewhere, which is fab, isn't it? I'm really pleased. We've got the overhead. In fact, I'll tell you something about this overhead. I made this overhead mount this morning. A saw, a drill, some scraps of wood, a little mount. And I think it's been a big success. So all the things I've been ordering and all the cables and connections and all that stuff, and I've made a nice mount there. Thanks, Mum. That's very kind of you. I'm off to see, well, to peer Mum through the window later to drop her off supplies. What else can I tell you about? That's it, I think. I may even just switch you to see me here for a second. Let's see if I can. This won't be the nicest angle. Here I am. Right, so I'll see you tomorrow. We'll try and do some more involved stuff tomorrow. And that's it, basically. This camera on this laptop is quite good for this sort of chat, isn't it? It's quite a good quality camera. But at least we've got the overhead, so I'm very happy about that. I see this, I'm a bit miserable about the start and the fact that we're having so many technology issues, but I think we've turned it around, everyone. We've got the overhead functioning so you can see everything. Ha, that's a win. Right, I'm going to go now. I'm going to try and not... Oh, is that a good picture? Oh, it is a good picture, isn't it? It's just not a very flattering angle. Perhaps I could crouch down a bit. What do you reckon? Is that better? Oh, over here. I feel like a newsreader sat like this. Yeah, so we'll have a better day tomorrow, and hopefully we can crack on. And I'm looking forward to getting this lap quilt starting to join it all together. I think it will be good as well because... Thank you, Maggie. That's very kind of you. I do try. Technology is not my thing. It is not my thing. So this has been very challenging. You know, when you think, oh, we'll do something a bit more technically involved. Let's have different camera angles. That'll be great. It's not great, but I'm trying. I'm trying to give you the best view because I know that I had a little bit of... People couldn't really understand the back to front thing when I was doing the isolation along. So I'm trying to, you know, figure it out so that I can let you see as best as I can let you see, if that makes any sense. What day is it today? Thursday. So we'll do Saturday. I keep saying tomorrow, don't I? I keep saying tomorrow. I'm trying to be very strict with myself to do every other day because I think that that's probably, I don't want to overwhelm you. Hi, Wendy. How are you? Hope you and Dad are all right. Actually, I did text him yesterday, so I do know you are okay. Yeah, I'm trying to not overwhelm you with too much. You know, I know there's loads of people doing loads of Facebook stuff. And I don't want to flood you with stuff. So I'm trying my best to not notice the angry faces and the sad faces that I'm receiving currently. Yes, so what day is it today? Thursday. So I'll be back Saturday. Okay? I'm just trying... my best to keep you entertained but not to flood you with information because that's just annoying, isn't it? You don't want that. Right, I'm going to log off now. I've whittled on at this camera angle because I found it's quite good. You buy all the equipment, everyone, and it's the camera that works on the computer. Thanks, Susan. Thank you, Eileen. I hope I've been able to see everyone's comments today. Oh, Maeve, that's a lovely name, isn't it? Oh, I love the name Maeve, don't you? It's just a lovely name. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you. So I'll be back Saturday at 11 o'clock, okay? And then every other day from now on. So Saturday, what is it? Thank you, Leslie. Saturday... Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Hope that makes sense. Yes, Susan. Well, people do, you see. They don't... sometimes people don't realise that I'm just a person. You know, it does bother me when I get angry and sad faces. But, you know, what can you do? Right. On that note, let's leave it on a positive note. What shall the positive note be? I'm getting soil today while getting mum's supplies. I could never justify going out for the soil on its own, so I'm teaming it with getting mum's supplies, all from the same place. So I'm going to get soil today. I've got strawberry plants on the way. I've got some seeds on the way, and the children and I are going to start a little... Thanks for all the love hearts, you guys. Oh, someone, I'm going to pretend that person, oh, 2 angry faces in a row and a sad face. Okay, I'll leave it now. Right, see you all on Saturday. Yes, I'll show you all after I put the soil in. I've also got a I investigated about potato bags and growing potato bags, and online it said the best potato bag growing is the ones you get like in Poundland, like the big plastic bags, and I have one of those, so I've already got my potatoes ready, so we'll see how we get on. Right, I'm going to sign off. Thank you all so much for joining in. Thanks for sticking with me with all the technical problems, and I will keep trying. And I mean, even if we stick with this angle for a little chat and then I just do the overhead, I think that's probably okay. We'll see. Right, have lovely days, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you on, goodness me, I'll remember eventually, Saturday. Bye.